right. Thank you. All right. Good evening, everybody. At this time, we will reconvene the regular meeting of the Suffern Central Board of Education for Tuesday, September 20th, 2022. Let the record reflect that all board members are present with the exception of Mrs. Jen Hodge. I would ask to please rise for the pledge and please remain standing after we're going to have a moment of silence for Mr. Tom Bellato, a former Suffern/Ramapo Central Board of Education member for 27 years and Sloesburg resident. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, well, I hope everybody has had a positive back to school the last couple of weeks. And it's time for our student report. And with the beginning of the new school year, it means we have a new student. So, our new student, please, podium, and let us know who you are.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brendan. I'm a senior at the high school. I'm involved in the student government. I'm the student body president this year, and I'm also the student liaison. To address the events going on in the district, tomorrow we'll be having the Peace Bowl dedication. The Suffern Rotary Club will be running it. All Model UN and Interact Club members will be there. Also tomorrow at 7 p.m. At the auditorium will be college night for all parents, especially pertains to parents who this may be the first child going through the college application process, or if anyone has questions, it's a great opportunity to go and get familiar. Also on Friday, during unit lunch at the high school in the courtyard, there'll be over 50 clubs advocating for new members and during the club expo. So it's also a great opportunity for underclassmen to go explore their interests, see clubs that align with their career interests as well. Also on Friday night at 7, there's a home football game against North Rockland. The theme is USA. And then on September 29th is Meet the Teacher Night for all students. Heading into October 1st, that Saturday is an SAT exam in the morning. And then also standardized testing, October 12th is the PSAT for all freshmen through juniors. That'll be held throughout the school day. And then while that's going on, the seniors will be in the auditorium for an assembly, guidance assembly. They were asked to fill out a poll last assembly we had about guest speakers they would want to see. So however those results turned out, there'll be guest speakers there, be college related as well. But other than that, the energy of the high school is pretty high right now. There's a lot of anticipation for what's to come in the next month. There's a lot of exciting things. We have football games, we have homecoming, extended lunches, Spirit Week. There's a lot going on, and the fall is pretty much like the honeymoon phase of school before like the winter starts. So everyone pretty loves that. But other than that, that's all I have. Thank you, guys.
That was a great report, very in depth. And do you have notes, or was that all memorized? All right, great job. All right, thank you. All right, 1.08 minutes of the excuse me, of the regular meeting of September 6th. Do I have a motion? Mrs. Dickman, is there a second? Dr. Nickpon. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those against? Any abstentions? 1.09 superintendent comments.
So I like that. September is the honeymoon period of the school year. That's fantastic. I'm going to have to remember that one. I do have a couple notes. So when you see my eyes go down, I am referring to my notes. I'm impressed. Very, very well done. This is week 3 of school, and walking around and visiting the schools, people are upbeat, excited. It is nice to kick off the school year. As mentioned previously, the Peace Pole at the high school is going to be dedicated tomorrow, and I want to thank the Suffern Rotary for their partnership with this, and our Interact Club for really making this what will be a very special event. Meet the Teacher Nights are going on all throughout the district. There is energy in the hallways and classrooms. It's great to see parents back in classrooms interacting with teachers and really starting to build not only relationships between students and teachers, but teachers and parents as well. It's really a great vibe. Some great stuff going on here in the district. Speaking of great things taking place, I'd like to turn it over to our Assistant Superintendent for Instruction, Ms. Weber, who's going to give us a brief update on some of the curricular and PD work that's being done in the district.
Thank you. I'm just going to highlight a couple of things tonight. Today we are halfway through our initial training for our upgraded math program, Eureka Math Squared. That's an upgrade from the regular one. They say it's exponentially better. I didn't come up with that. They said that. But we're very excited. We've done grades 3 through 5 and had one training for leaders. We're going to continue with grades K through 2 over the next week and another leadership training. That's phase 1 of our implementation. Phase 2 will be on-site coaching with the vendor, which will take place from October through probably mid-April, and that's on-site at the building level coaching provided to the teachers. It's going very well so far. It's a lot of information, but the teachers are excited. The students are engaged. So we're really looking forward to that. We also have our 4th grade PBL guaranteed experience, which we will be kicking off in the beginning of October. We're so excited to bring our very successful PBL program to all of our students, providing the opportunity for every 4th grader to participate in a PBL project. Ken Wojciechowski will be leading that initial training along with the 4th grade teachers who have done projects in the past. And so the ones who are new to it will be able to rely on the experience of their colleagues. And then our other update for the fall is the Next Gen standards are a new set of standards. They're not really new. They're really a revised version of the previous standards we were working with that are now will be tested for the first time on this spring state test, grades 3 through 8. So this is kind of the year we've been building up to where the full implementation needs to take place, which also means that our elementary standards-based report cards need to be updated. So we have been working on those updates really for the last 2 years, and we're fine-tuning. The report cards are finished. We're still fine-tuning the rubrics, and those should be done by the end of the first trimester and available to the parents. For kindergarten, we are rolling out a new type, totally new type of report card that we are really excited about. That's not quite ready to be unveiled yet. So let me just say it's going to be really exciting for our kindergartners and their families, because any kindergartner has no idea what's on their report card, and the parents have a hard time understanding it often. So when we see the new tool we'll be rolling out, I think it'll be really exciting for our kindergartners and their families.
Thank you very much, Ms. Weber. Some exciting things to look forward to, and great that we're moving forward at a quick pace. A lot of things going on. So thank you so much. I'd like to take a moment to express our district's condolences to the entire Bellato family. I had the opportunity to get to know Tom Bellato over my first year here in Suffern Central. He was the first individual to send me a letter welcoming me to the district. He was a member of the Ramapo, Sloatsburg Rotary, inviting me to a meeting to get to know the members of the Rotary in Sloatsburg. And I'll never forget his outreach and his desire to be a warm, welcoming committee as an individual. And over the periods of time that I got to know him, I recognized how influential he was in this entire district, and not influential because he forced his opinions on other folks, but influential because he really spent time listening to people and thinking about issues, contemplating them, and providing his humble, quiet, and unassuming thoughts on whatever topic was being discussed. I had the opportunity to chat with a couple of board members here who have been very close with Tom Bellato over the years. And in particular, the Suffern historian, Craig Long, who, as a historian, knows a lot about what has taken place over the last several decades here in the Suffern Central School District, but had some really nice things to say about his Board of Education colleague, Tom Bellato. Craig Long and Tom Bellato served on the Board of Education together for about 15 years. Tom Bellato served a total of 27 years, as Mr. Kern just indicated before. 9 terms as a board member. That is a tremendous amount of dedication to children and the school district and the community. And Craig Long said that when he thinks about Tom Bellato, they used to call him the dean of the board. He was that quiet, unassuming leader. Sometimes he was president, sometimes he wasn't, but he was the dean. He was that person that had command over the room. Incredibly professional, and is known for being a champion of not only our school district, but of our entire community. So in closing, I'd like to thank Tom Bellato for his 27 years of service on this board, but even more years of service for everything that he did for the children and the community of Suffern Central. To the Bellato family, our condolences are with you. Thank you.
All right, thank you for all the updates. Thank you, Ms. Weber, for your updates on what's happening in our district. And as Dr. Gunderson said, all of our deepest condolences to the Bellato family. Moving on in the agenda, 1.10 is public participation. This is public participation on action items only. If there are any individuals who wish to speak on action items, please step up to the podium. Okay, seeing as there are none, we will close that portion of the meeting. And we will move into our action items. So tonight, I would call for a consent agenda for items 2.01 through 2.20. Are there any items that any board members wish to pull from the consent agenda? No? Okay. All right, so for action items 2.01 through 2.20, do I have a motion? Mr. Donnelly, second? Second. Mr. Shapiro? All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 All those against? Any abstentions? All right, thank you all. 6.01, board member comments. Board member comments at this time. Ms. Dickman.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to welcome all of our school, our staff, our students, and our teachers back. This is the first sort of normal school opening we've had in 3 years. And I'd like to thank everyone who rose to the occasion. I know it's been a little bit disorienting for some of our students who had 2 years of sort of very strange types of school openings and now are back on board. We have really markedly different leadership this time, and our outlook about the district and goals have changed a little bit. And I'd like to thank all of the staff and our teachers and everyone who really came together to support each other and to support the One Suffern program that we have. And everyone is just doing really great work that we've seen on Facebook and on Instagram, showing what's going on in your classes and the really positive, uplifting environment that you're creating for the students is really become apparent. certainly from what I've seen in all the media and all the information that's coming to us. So I just want to wish everyone a really good year. I think we've started off really well. Hopefully we'll keep on going. Everyone stay well and everyone stay focused on our goals. And I think it's going to be great.
Thank you. Any other board member comments? Oh, Mr. Frazier?
One quick birthday wish to John, our security out there. Each of us passed the desk out front.
Come on in,
John,
birthday boy.
Come on in, John. It's not happy birthday. And it's not a secret. It's out there. John is 60 years old today. So happy birthday. Wishing you many more, John. Thank you for all you do.
Thanks. All right. Anyone else? No. All right. All right. So we'll move on then. 7.01, public participation. This is the second segment of public participation. This is the opportunity for individuals to speak on district-related matters. If you have a topic or an item district-related, please step to the podium. This is a 3-minute session per speaker. So please adhere to the 3-minute mark, and please do not, or please refrain from mentioning any specific teachers, students. With that being said, just please just state your name and affiliation when you come up. That's all. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Dawn Christensen, and my son is a 3rd grader at Biola. He is a big picture thinker, creative, intuitive, incredibly articulate, and he is dyslexic, severely dyslexic. Dyslexia. Dyslexia. It is a term often met with discomfort, stigma, shame, and quite frankly, ignorance. I'm here to dispel the misinformation. Dyslexia is a way beyond reversing letters. It is a specific learning disability, neurobiological in origin. Dyslexic brains are literally wired differently, thus the term neurodivergent. It is a genetic difference in a person's ability to learn and process information. Dyslexics learn and process information differently. Now let's dispel some myths. It is not a disease. It is not uncommon. It is not due to lack of effort or being lazy or slow or too much television. It doesn't go away, and it has nothing to do with the intellect of the individual. Here are the facts. Dyslexia is highly hereditary, spans all income brackets and cultural backgrounds, and is super common. In fact, 1 in 5 children are dyslexic. And according to the Yale Center for Dyslexia, 85 children placed in special education for learning disabilities are dyslexic, 85%. And now here's a staggering figure. 80% of children go undiagnosed, 80%. That is astounding. Dyslexics are average to highly intelligent, even gifted, and are very creative, three-dimensional thinkers, like brilliant innovators, Albert Einstein, anybody know him? Steven Spielberg, Sir Richard Branson, all dyslexic. In fact, 40% of self-made millionaires are dyslexic, and 50% of NASA scientists. I tell my son dyslexic thinking is his superpower. But they say dyslexics are made for the world, not for school, since school can be enormously challenging. Dyslexia affects reading, writing, spelling, rote math, math tables, word problems, learning another language, and much, much more. People with dyslexia can learn to read if and only if they are taught structured literacy, which literally helps rewire their brain. Unfortunately, the majority of children with dyslexia aren't identified until 5th grade or later, sometimes never. What makes this so disheartening is that intervention is far less effective when administered after 3rd grade. Without aggressive, appropriate early interventions, children with dyslexia may be unable to ever overcome significant and persistent achievement gaps. What a loss. Far too many dyslexic children suffer low self-esteem because they feel stupid, they struggle in school, they're teased, and become school avoidant like my son. Sadly, this is needless suffering because we know the solution. Yesterday, I spoke to New York State Assembly member Robert Carroll of Division 44, who is dyslexic himself. The legislator advised that there is little to no evidence to support Lucy Culkin, and it is fundamentally flawed. Carroll stressed the essential need for explicit, structured, sequential, multi-sensory phonics-based learning interventions within public schools. He went on to express that this is an issue of equity and injustice. It is. He is sponsoring the Dyslexia Task Force of the Department of Education, which is currently on Governor Hochul's desk, waiting to be signed. Carroll then urged, and I quote, Rockland County should get ahead of the curve. The evidence is very clear, and it is. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to point out, thank you very much for your words. I just want to say that while we can hear you in the room, on the recording, you really have to speak more into the mic so everyone at home can hear it just as clearly.
My name is Kim Digatani, and I have a daughter who attends Suffern Middle School, and she is dyslexic. We first found out about her dyslexia in preschool when her teacher pointed out that she couldn't read the alphabet or write her name correctly. We had her evaluated right away, but the tests were inconclusive. Upon entering kindergarten, we expressed our concerns of her dyslexia to her teacher, but didn't get anywhere with it. My daughter struggled and continued to struggle with reading and writing throughout elementary school, and she fell severely behind. Every year we expressed our concerns to teachers, but again, nothing was done. Finally, in third grade, we had her privately diagnosed at the Child Mind Institute of New York. As a parent struggling with this, I was relieved to finally have a diagnosis. Dyslexia is often called a hidden disability because you can't look at someone and tell they have dyslexia. 20% of our population struggles with some degree of dyslexia. Many of us joke at times when we transpose letters and words or numbers that we must have dyslexia, but dyslexia is not a laughing matter, not for the kids who are struggling with it and for their parents. Parents are not finding the answers they need when they are turning to the Suffern Central School District to help their struggling child. The truth is that our universities have greatly failed our teachers and our school staff in the area of dyslexia. Parents of these students have the right to believe the school system is going to provide the appropriate education for their child to be successful in school. Just like when a parent brings their child to a doctor and trusts they know how to help their sick child. Parents believe that the schools know how to help their struggling child because they are the educational professionals. Unfortunately, parents don't know that the school staff is ill-prepared to help their child, and their child will most likely not get the type of remediation that is supported by evidence-based research to help these kids learn to read and write. And make no doubt about it, these kids can learn to read and write with the appropriate remediation and support. In the famous words of Jonathan Mooney, author of Learning Between the Lines and the Short Bus, graduate of Brown University and dyslexic, he said, "I never suffered from dyslexia, but I always suffered from dysteachia." Jonathan did succeed, but not because his school quickly identified him and provided him the appropriate support. He succeeded because his mother did not accept the answers the school was giving them about why Jonathan was struggling. She fought long and she fought hard for him, just like we are here today for our children at Suffern Central School District. But why should we have to fight at all? Why doesn't the school help? Jonathan didn't go to Suffern Central School, but the sad truth is that we talk to parents every day in the Suffern school system that are trying to figure out why their child is struggling. Parents that are so frustrated with trying to work with the school to help their child and don't know where to go. parents that are literally breaking down into tears because their bright child hates school and they are watching their child's self-esteem being taken away more and more every day they spend in it. Parents that are showing a medical diagnosis of dyslexia or a learning disability and still not getting appropriate literacy support. Parents that are struggling to pay for outside certified tutors because the district refuses to provide the desperately needed appropriate instruction during school. Parents that are wondering why they have to wait months for evaluations and documents that should be done in days, and why there are many times virtually no communication from the special education department. Parents are appalled that many of these special education administrators are not up to the current practices of students with dyslexia, dysgraphia, and dyscalculia, and the standards that so many local districts are living up to. Just a few miles away, children of other districts are identified and given the same services that parents at Suffern Central School District have to fight years for and still don't get. It is time for Suffern Central to stand up and take charge of educating all our teachers, school psychologists, and administrators in the area of dyslexia so that they can finally begin to answer the questions parents are asking and meet the needs of these 20% of the students in our schools. You owe it to these kids, to these parents, and to our community to prepare these kids for a successful education career and life beyond Suffern Central School District. I would like to hand you a list of commonly asked questions regarding the handling of dyslexia by the school district. After carefully reviewing your previous board meetings, the district website, and the special education plan, I couldn't find an answer to these questions. Hopefully the board can review these questions and have a follow-up at the next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Karen Grossman, and I'm here to speak about dyslexia. I would like to focus on the realities of dyslexia, its effect on our kids, and what we can do as a community and district to help these struggling students. I have two sons, a 9th grader at Suffern High School and a 7th grader at the middle school. Both have been diagnosed with dyslexia by private doctors. I'd like you to imagine for a moment that you're a child in pre-K. Before you even start kindergarten, you're told how bright you are and that great things are in store for you. You have a keen interest in the world and your place in it. You're constantly asking questions about how the world works. You take great pride in your immense vocabulary. You're extremely creative with your thoughts and your imagination. Now fast forward to kindergarten or even 1st grade. Now you're struggling to read, write, spell, and memorize math facts. You were once told how smart you are, but now you sit in class day after day, failing and not understanding why. Imagine telling your teacher you're struggling, and the response is just work harder, try harder, just focus. Your internal thoughts, I'm trying, I'm working, I just don't get it. Your external response, okay. You go home, you try again, and you cry. If you're lucky, your parents have caught on to a bigger problem. Seek help, private testing, private tutors. Imagine finally knowing that what's wrong and that a real working dyslexia diagnosis was given, and then being told doesn't really exist, it isn't bad enough, or that you're just too lazy. Every day you're told to be more motivated. Instead, you get more frustrated, scared, and your self-esteem shrinks. For my kids and too many like them, this is not something imagined because this is real. A child should not be afraid to go to school because they may have to read in front of their classmates and be teased because it takes them longer to process the sounds. Once confident children now develop anxiety because they're reading far below their grade level despite having high IQs. These children don't lack motivation or intelligence. What they lack are the proper skills and methods that are effective for them to learn. These kids' gifts and strengths should be embraced and celebrated, yet it's only their shortcomings that are focused on. Imagine being their parents and advocates of these children. The current research-based information about dyslexia is still ignored. You're told that your child's school doesn't have certified teachers who can help anyways. Imagine meeting after meeting, year after year, listening to administrators continually offer programs and tiers of support that are not the scientifically based proven methods of literacy support for a dyslexic learner. You question why. Dyslexia is real. Suffern Central owes it to these kids to allow them to reach their potential. It's long past time to bring certified or in Gilliam literacy specialists into Suffern. Give the kids a phonics-based program with the systematic scope and sequence they need to progress, and give it with fidelity. Write appropriate goals that children need and use measurable, not subjective methods to track their goals. It's simple and it works. Suffern needs to identify, recognize, and service all of these children appropriately. It's proven that almost all children learn better with phonics-based literacy. So moving away from whole word approach ASAP would be beneficial to all. Explicit instruction for phonetic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension is where we should be and where we must be. I'll leave you with one final thought. The preeminent researcher of dyslexia, Dr. Sally Shaywitz, has said, "We don't have a knowledge gap, we have an action gap. It's time for action." Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Andrea Jaffe. I'm a taxpayer in the district, and my children were in private school. The reason I'm here today, as I come very often, is to talk about busing. Mr. Kern mentioned that he hoped that there was a positive start to the school year. Not for me, and I don't even have kids in school. My kids have aged out. The reason that I didn't have a positive start to the school year is because my phone has been ringing off the hook with WhatsApp and calls from parents who are just terribly frustrated, terribly disappointed that they cannot get their kids to school on time, on a bus, safely, with the appropriate amount of seats at the time that their kids need to be in school. When I was growing up in the district, there was one Suffern. Now we have two Sufferns. I really would urge the board, I've spoken to Dr. Gunderson, to put it from this podium. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other speakers?
Hi, my name is Jennifer Weitzman. I'm a parent in the district. I do want to say that this year my kids' school buses have mostly worked out, but I do think that one of the issues that comes up a lot is that in public school, you have elementary, middle, and high in different buildings with different start times. And in the private schools, we have from K through 8th, which is elementary and middle, in one building, but with different start times. So I don't know if that could be part of the agenda that would be addressed and maybe would help with some of the busing issues.
Thank you. Other speakers?
Hi, how are you? I have a little stage fright, so pardon me.
All I ask is, could you just state your name? That's all.
Moshe Kaufman.
Thank you.
All right. I did not come here today to speak, but I was just sitting here listening to these ladies talking about their kids and they have problems with the kids and they're not being listened to. I felt like I could also relate to them. I have 3 kids that take buses every single day. I have one 13-year-old and I have one 5-year-old. They're all going out the door at 7:30 a.m. in the same time. My 5-year-old is a little kid and my 13-year-old is like a teenager leaving at the same time. I don't think that makes sense at all. This has been a old topic that has been brought up a lot. I've never spoken about it, and I'm not involved in anything related to the busing. But what's mind-boggling is that we keep trying to reach out in a nice, proper manner, emailing, calling, respectfully asking to resolve certain issues. We were denied a simple bus stop at our house corner because someone from the district decided that my house is further than, I think, 15 miles. We have tried emailing, sending the exact route that shows that my house is 14.9 miles from my kid's school. And someone responded to us saying that they did their own research and my house is in fact further. Now, we have tried sending the route showing that it's not, but there was no responses whatsoever. We're not looking to try to speak to anyone here and saying, hey, why are we being treated differently? This is something that makes no sense at all. Why would this, school go and try to say that we're further than the allowed mileage just to not give us a bus stop? I think that is something that is very simple. There's a bus that stops like literally a quarter mile from my house, and my kids are being denied a bus stop, which makes me having to drive them every single day a quarter mile up the road, which is kind of really messing up my whole day schedule. I have to drive them every single day at 7 o'clock from my door, literally down the road. I have a 5-year-old. I can't have them walk. So that messes up my schedule with my work related, and it just makes no sense at all. If that is something that could be looked at, I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Other speakers? No. All right. Seeing as there are no other speakers, we will close this portion of the meeting and move to our superintendent closing comments.
Thank you. I have no further comments, but I would like to thank all those who came today to speak on the, in general, on the two different topics, dyslexia as well as transportation. I'd just like to say to all of you that are in the audience who came to speak or support others who spoke on those two topics, just know that your comments are not falling on deaf ears. We are listening to you, and both of these topics are at the center of the work that we are doing, and we hope to continually improve the services for all students in our district, in particular on these two topics.
Thank you. Okay. Then at this time, we will close the meeting. Before we make our motion to adjourn, I just want to, our next meeting, just so everybody's aware, is on a Monday, which is not typical. Typically, we're Tuesdays, but our next meeting due to the holidays will be on Monday, October 3rd. So if you plan on coming, just mark your calendar a day early. And that being said, I will make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a motion? Motion. Mr. Donnelly, second? Second. Ms. Dickman? All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Thank you all very much for coming tonight. Thank you to all of our speakers, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.